Growing up, my family would go on road trips every Christmas holiday from Lagos to our hometown in Adamawa State, Nigeria. Inspired by this experience are 25 staple recipes and heartfelt stories just for you. This is Sally's 25 Days of Christmas. For this video, we are using half of a full chicken. This is soft chicken, also called fryers or broilers. So we're going to wash this till it's well clean, and then we would make some slits. I'm going to be deep frying this, so I'm just making these slits to ensure that it cooks all the way through inside, and also so that the seasoning would penetrate and pass, through the flesh and all that good stuff. So next I'm going to add my seasoning. So I used powdered garlic, powdered ginger, chicken bouillon cube, powdered curry, and powdered white pepper. I'm just going to give this a good mix and sprinkle on my chicken. So for the measurement, I used a teaspoon of each of those ingredients, and if you notice, I didn't put salt. That is because after frying my chicken, I'm going to be sprinkling a generous amount of Suya pepper, which is basically a blend of dried pepper and a lot of dried spices, and it already contains salt and seasoning cube as well. So I didn't want my chicken to be overwhelmed with salt or seasoning. That was why I omitted salt at this point. Now, while you're massaging in your powdered seasoning, I advise that you drizzle some oil. I forgot to do that at this point, but afterwards I brushed on some oil. Now, why I advise that is because the oil helps to ensure that your powdered seasoning sticks to your chicken, and it also helps to ensure that your seasoning is not dried out. I noticed that when you deep fry chicken, all of the powdered seasoning tends to crisp up, and you have like little crisps and flakes of salt and seasoning. So the oil helps to just marry everything together properly. Next, we are going to prep our Irish potatoes. So I'm going to be using small size Irish potatoes. You can peel this using a potato peeler, but hey, I'm just going to do this the old school way, okay? This is how I was raised and trained to peel my potatoes. Also, I couldn't get a potato peeler. The one that I had was nowhere to be found, so I just had to use a knife. So I'm just peeling my potatoes here, and then I'm just gonna give you a quick backstory to the inspiration of this dish. So when we travel to the north from Lagos, my dad would usually drive us all the way from Lagos to Adamawa State. However, we would break the journey for 2 days. So we would first go to Abuja, and then the next day go to Adamawa. So from Abuja to Adamawa, we would pass through Jos, which is also a northern state, and there's this market in Jos where a lot of travelers pass, and they sell fried chicken and fried potatoes. This is exactly how they make their fried potatoes. They would literally just cut it in halves like this and then fry it, deep fry of course. The same thing with the chicken. They would literally fry a whole chicken, and they would fry half of a chicken like what I'm going to be using in this video. And so we would normally buy from them whenever we're traveling from Abuja to Adamawa, because we always have to pass through that particular road to get to where we are going. It was always a treat and always a very memorable experience for me. They would just season the chicken with just salt. I don't know how they did it, but just salt, and then they would deep fry it. It would be cooked all the way through. It would be juicy. Mind you, this is local chicken they are using. It would be so nice, and then they would sell it in newspaper wraps. They would give you Suya pepper, of course, as an option. I mean, if you're in the north, I would question if you do not eat Suya pepper, being from the north or going to the north. Suya pepper is like a staple powdered seasoning that you find everywhere. And so I did that for all of my potatoes, and now we are going to wash this thoroughly under running water, drain the water, season lightly with salt, and we're going to deep fry. I forgot to press record. I'm so sorry guys, but what I did here was I preheated some oil in my pan on medium low. You know, there's medium high, there's medium low, there's high heat, there's low heat. Medium low. Reason is, you know, we cut our potatoes into 2 equal halves, so they are quite thick and they need some time to cook all the way through. If your heat is too high, your oil will be too hot, and then your potatoes will just brown quickly without cooking on the inside. So here you can see that they are not properly cooked. They still need some time to fry. And another tip I would give you for frying your potatoes is the moment they start floating like this, it's ready. In fact, the sizzling sound of the oil would change. When you're frying first, your potatoes would sink to the bottom of the pan, but once they start floating, it's cooked. And then you notice that when you are even picking them up, they are much lighter in weight compared to when you first threw them into the oil. So that's my own tip on how to know that your fried potatoes are cooked all the way through. So here I was just selecting the smaller ones first, still giving the bigger ones a little bit more time to fry and to cook. You know, these cooked at different times because of their sizes. I wasn't able to get exactly one size all through for my potatoes, so you just have to find a way to go about it that everything is fried. But you do not want to over fry this or fry them till they are like dark brown. You just want to fry them until they are properly cooked and just slightly golden brown. So here I'm packing all of my potatoes and then I'm transferring them to a strainer. You can also transfer them to a kitchen towel to absorb all the excess oil. What I like to do is to first transfer them to a strainer like so, and then I'll transfer it to a kitchen towel to catch all the extra oils that may be on the potatoes. So now we are going to fry our chicken. Here you can see that I brushed mine with some oil like I mentioned earlier. And so using my kitchen tongue, I'm just going to insert this into my hot oil. Mind you, I'm still frying on medium low heat. You know, this chicken is literally half of a full chicken, and so it needs time to cook. You don't want a situation whereby the outside of your chicken is crispy and golden brown, but once you cut into it, it's completely raw. You know, we have to make sure that the chicken cooks. So one thing you're going to have to do is flip it from side to side. This took about well over 15 to 20 minutes to fry, if I'm not exaggerating, okay, because I was doing it on medium low heat. And so once it starts turning brown on one side, you turn it to the other side and allow it to fry. You can position it any way you like, any area or any side of the chicken that you notice may not be getting browned. You can try to position the chicken in such a way so that it browns evenly and it cooks perfectly. Now that our chicken is ready, we're taking that out of the oil and into a strainer. And then while the chicken is still hot, I'm going to give it a good bath of my Suya pepper, because what's being a northerner if I do not eat some Suya pepper, right? So I am going to just sprinkle generous amounts of Suya pepper all over this chicken. Maybe in one of these days I would do a tutorial showing you guys how to make Suya pepper at home. This is actually a homemade Suya pepper that we have in the house. We literally have a jar of it, like a large jar. So here I am just dusting off the excess, and then I'm going to transfer this to my plate. You guys, this was such a treat. Beautiful, delicious. Oh my god, so many memories. When my brother saw this, he was like, oh, today I remembered Just People, because we always pass there to travel. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you try this recipe. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, leave a comment, and of course share this video to a loved one to try it out. Okay, I'll see you in my next video. Have a beautiful Christmas.